content over everything.
The ideology. They have revolutionary. They're revolutionary. When I knew a lot of these people and used to hang around with them, it struck me, having in my own past studied Marxism, how Leninist they were. The concept of the party, party of liberation. That's what it means. And the way the party would ally itself with, say, military figures, say, in the Pakistan government or whatever, and overthrow, do a coup d'etat to overthrow the government. Yeah. And they're not really into the interior life, about renewing yourself, they're not really very spiritual at all. It's political, it's revolutionary, it's not sunnah. Although the other caliphate is there, but they are like far, far left. And they're very anti-British, and they're very left-wing, and they're very, very militant and very anti-democratic. They reject democracy completely. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. They just do. Okay. They don't support IS. They absolutely do not support IS or Al-Qaeda. But they are wedded to this idea again of the caliphate. The caliphate is their political program. And again, that's not really what Islam is about. If you read the Quran from beginning to end, it doesn't go on about the caliphate.
And you're saying
it goes on about God and the dunya and
Salafism is about. Some Salafis are obsessed about the caliphate, others don't. Is that right?
The mainstream Salafis are not obsessed with the caliphate at all, because if you read the Quran, it doesn't go on about the caliphate at all. Well, the caliphate is the successor. The caliph is the successor, and Adam is a caliph. We are the caliph. We are responsible before God for running the world. It's not a political structure.
This conversation would be good if one of Suleiman or Abdul Hakim was here. Because
he's in prison, and the other one is probably in prison as well, with a bit of luck.
So, I mean, I do understand why they call him a racist, but it's probably based upon ignorance. But what my point is that the converts, especially I would say Afro-Caribbean converts, should be seen very different than those that were born into it. Because they have a different outlook. And also, for instance, those two, especially Abdul Hakim, not to insult him, but he doesn't look like the most questioning brother you can find, right? So,
very polite.
As I've continuously mentioned here, if you look at Saudi Arabia as it is today, do you know about the war in Yemen?
Only a tiny bit, not
really. Do you agree that Saudi Arabia is bombing the hell out of that place?
That seems undisputed.
Certain Salafis have said they totally agree with it.
Right, okay.
So my point is, they're very political and careful with their words, just like he's been. Instead of giving you straightforward answers to straightforward points that are made, he's dilly-dallying around, and you've had to ask him several times to clarify certain points.
But that's not an issue with this. When we've talked about other topics as well, I think we both get passionate, and maybe we talk about other topics before getting to the main point. I don't think it's specific on this issue.
No, I'm saying, I put simple things to you, right?
Okay,
I basically said simply this. Salafism and ISIS and the terrorist guys and so on, they're the same piece of material. Different ways of achieving the same end. Here's the difference.
You should probably debate with him.
Well, one sec. So how it works. I'm true Muslim, which they call Shia. It's what we're Shia.
All right. Because you're talking about IS.
One sec, let me finish.
That's why you're covering your face.
One sec.
That's why you're covering your face.
Just let me finish this point.
Wait. I remember him now from when he says that. I remember you didn't have your face covered.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know who all this time?
Well, how am I supposed to tell with your face covered?
Well, everyone else does.
Describe him to us.
How can I recognise you with your face covered?
Fake shit, shut up, you bum.
What, recognise you from your fingernails or your shoe size?
So how does everyone else recognise me?
I don't know. I didn't recognise you. Your face was covered.
Yeah, will they recognise me?
You're off.
Shut up, you punk. La. You see? Typical Sunni savage dog. Anyway, as I was saying. Yeah, all right, mate. As I was saying. Very simple. When you have a group of people that quote from the same scholars, that have very similar behaviour. When I mentioned Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab, when the Salafis are backed by power, this is when you see the real Salafi. They just think of it as anyone else. If they're bullies, then once they feel powerful, they bully. When the people they bully come back with a bigger army, what do? They start thinking sugar. You know what, bruv, we're sorry about that. Do you want a sweet? Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what the Salafi movement is doing, because look at Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab. They will not denounce him for nothing. He's one of their greats.
But that doesn't necessarily mean he's one of their greats, although he could be.
No.
There's also, just within the Islamic community, as I think we were discussing earlier, there is a hesitancy to declare who is in or out of the Muslim fold. It doesn't necessarily imply respect. It's simply they don't.
They've got his main book, Kitab al-Tawheed, by Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab. It is this book that he used, this ideology that he used to call other Sunnis in Arabia non-Muslim to legitimize killing them.
Some Muslims will not denounce him because they support his ideas. Some Muslims will also probably not denounce him because they don't feel comfortable denouncing anyone. who calls himself a Muslim
We're
or
talking
Salafi or
specifically about
whatever.
Salafis.
Okay.
And I'm saying to you, the people that promote Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab
Okay.
and his book
Okay.
are the Salafis.
Okay.
Do you understand?
But what's wrong with what bin Abdul Wahab said? What is wrong with
Which
what
bit?
he said?
Which bit?
Kitab al-Tawheed. You mentioned, I've read that book. What's wrong with it?
There's some bits of it which, when you go into more detail downwards, it manifests itself making takfir on other Sunnis. Do you understand?
Give me an example.
Oh, bruv, do you really want me to go there?
Yeah, go
Okay, you know about the way that they talk about the Salaf.
Yeah,
Do you know what? Do you know what they mean by Salaf?
I know exactly the five predecessors and all that.
Do you know who they're talking
Orthodox
about?
Islam? Orthodox.
No, but do you know who they're talking about when they say the Salaf is Salih? Who?
Salaf Saleh.
Yeah.
That's the first 3 generations. It's
Okay.
Like Sahaba, etc.
Okay. Do you agree? You had, they would say some Sahaba who were their behaviour was rightly guided, and some Sahaba they would say whose behaviour was not very good.
To be honest, I'm not an expert, but I've not heard of any Sahaba
Yeah.
that are like bad.
So Muawiyah,
For my-
Muawiyah fought against Imam Ali, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you agree Imam Ali is a rightly guided caliph?
Of course.
Rightly guided by Allah, yes?
Of course.
So if somebody's rightly guided by Allah, and you raise an army to fight him, what position do you have?
My position is
No, not you, not you. The person that fights a rightly guided caliph who's rightly guided by Allah. If they fight them, what position do they have in relation to Allah? Opposing Allah, yes?
Ask Allah. Ask Allah.
Pardon me?
Ask Allah.
Hold on.
I cannot say.
So, all right, if somebody fights the Prophet, what position is he in?
He's kafir.
He's a kafir.
Yeah.
So, did Allah rightly guide the Prophet?
Of course.
Okay, so if Allah rightly guides a caliph called Ali alayhi salam, then the person that fights him is what?
I cannot say.
Okay.
No,
And
I
there
can't
you
seriously,
have-
bruv. I
there you
cannot
have
say.
the- no, listen to what I'm saying.
No, but you're getting focused on that. I'm asking you.
You
what
asked me a question. I'm giving you the
Muhammad
people.
bin Abdul Wahab rahimahullah. What has he said? You
Who?
said in
Did you
Muhammad
say
bin
rahimah-
Abdul Wahab rahimahullah? Yeah, of course. He's a scholar of Islam. Of course.
Would he not be classified as a terrorist under today's terms?
What has he said that's terrorist?
What he did.
What did he do?
Didn't he get his head chopped off in the?
No. You know about him, right?
I'm pretty sure. Did he? No. Did he get his head chopped off in the and thrown in the Bosphorus?
Bruv, we're not talking about his end. We're talking about during his life, bro.
Yeah, but why did he get killed?
Brother, we're
He
talking.
said, why is he a
Why
terrorist?
are you
Why
jumping,
he got
brother?
killed?
You're not listening. I'm talking to you and talking about his behaviour during his life. You want to jump to his end?
Was
What's
that
going on here?
Is that Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab?
No, the only thing
Oh
I
my
know about
gosh.
bin
Is
Abdul
that the same?
Wahab
Are we
is
talking
Kitab
about the same one?
al-Tawheed.
Was that one of his descendants?
Brother, listen to what I'm
I'm
saying.
asking you because I don't know.
You might be talking about the Mahdi of Sadat by the sound of it. But I'm talking about Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab, who started basically Saudi Arabia as we know it today.
Yes, I know. In
Right.
the 17th century. What I'm saying is he also had descendants that still run the country today. Now, the guy that got his head chopped off and thrown into the Bosphorus, are you aware of that? By Mustafa II, by the Caliph at the time.
Brother, listen to what I'm saying. As far as I know, that's not how Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab died.
Okay, so
What
we're
my
talking about
point is,
someone
what I'm talking about is,
Astaghfirullah, it wasn't Muhammad.
that's fine. What I'm saying to you is, very simply, we were discussing Salafism and ISIS, or the terrorist brothers, yeah? Well, look at the thing, because I want the brother to respond. Come on now. Behave. This is what I'm saying. Because they were complaining about you last week, you know. Anyway, listen.
about you, bro.
Yeah, all right. Come to rapidly. Yeah? Shall I hear what the Somali said about you?
Allow it, bro.
Stay on subject.
On to you.
And what do you think, actually, what do you think between the Somalis? They love me, bro. Don't get jealous.
on to you, bro.
I'm not even Somali, they love me. Get back to the subject. Listen. Do you think the Salafis and the ISIS terrorists are the same in ideology, just different means of achieving the same end? Do you agree with that statement? Be honest.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, what would you differ on? I don't mean the Salafis themselves, I'm talking about the movement itself. So in other words, the average Salafi doesn't know this. But the movement
You
to
got
which
completely off topic now. We're talking about Imam Abdul Wahab.
But I asked you and he said you don't know, you don't know.
No, Kitab
This guy.
al-Tawheed. What is it he said? That's
Brother,
terrorism.
brother, when you're
Because
telling
he
me...
talks about Tawheed. He talks about the basics from what I know.
Oh my God.
He talks about the basics, not
What
doing
about
shirk
his
and all that.
action? Did you hear the words? Actions. Did he kill... We were talking about this before. Did he kill a load of Sunnis? Yes or no?
All I know is he demolished graves. He demolished...
Did he kill
like,
people
his
or
shirk.
not? Yes or no? What's wrong with you people?
I know that the Sauds used...
No, it's yes or no.
Sauds used
No,
him.
it's yes or no?
The Sauds did.
So the Sauds used him.
Yeah.
So he wrote a book called Kitab al-Tawheed,
Yeah.
but he didn't know he would be used to kill a load of Muslims.
He was trying to bring the Orthodox Islam back.
So are you afraid to say yes or no to my question?
Because I don't know. I cannot say.
That's why I'm
Because I
discussing
do
with
not
him.
know.
Because when I get to the important crux, I don't know. This is what you keep saying. So we can talk to somebody that might know. Yes? Brother, come on now. Come on now, it's a simple thing. Let's get back to, you said they're not the same in ideology and goal, yes? Do you agree that Saudi Arabia is bombing the hell out of Yemen? Okay, no, I'm just saying, mate, because some people might say no. Do you agree that the Salafis support that?
They
Be honest.
Yes, they support the king.
Saudi Arabia is
No,
what?
bro.
Do you agree that Yemeni Sunnis are
What's wrong
oppressed?
with you, bro?
As far as I know, they
Yemeni
don't
Sunnis
take a
are oppressed. I'm making a point here.
They don't get involved in
And
Brother,
he turns away.
listen. People have made up fear on their king and those lot that are ruling Arabia because of their actions, not just because of their beliefs. Do you understand?
talking about the king. The king's
The king, I'm saying,
The Salafis haven't made takfir on
I
it.
think he's Shia.
brother, I'm not.
And he's trying to stick up for the
What the
Shia.
hell? No, I deal with truth. So forget these allegations of
No,
foolishness.
you can't say you deal with truth because you're looking
Yeah.
at it one-sided. Do you not
How do you
see-
know?
All right, the Houthis.
Was I born into Shia?
The Houthis.
Was I born into Shia?
I don't know.
Exactly. So you
How's
need to
that
know-
relevant?
I'll
But
tell
you're
you how it's
coming from a
relevant.
Shia point of
How
view.
do you know?
Because you said about Muawiyah first, all the
Yeah.
pointers, you've given three signs,
Yeah.
all the talks you've given, three signs
Yeah.
that you're a Shia. So I'm judging
These
you
are the-
as a Shia. He is a
No,
Shia.
no.
Well, there you go. So why are you denying it?
Right, don't be confused.
Just say yeah.
Okay,
I'm not confused.
No. You are
Talk
confused.
about the... No, you're talking
forget
about
it.
Yemen.
You're not intelligent enough to engage. Let's deal with the brother.
What?
Shush. He insulted me. Shush.
So I disagree with him.
Shush.
So I disagree with you.
Shush. Don't interrupt. I'm saying to you, he falsely accused me of being biased, yes?
Of course
He
you are.
Stop.
Everyone's biased.
Demonstrate.
Everyone's
Stop.
biased.
How am I biased?
Everyone is biased.
Right,
Are
Ruth,
you kidding
well,
me?
demonstrate.
Are you kidding me?
No.
You are,
Forget-
listen, the way you
Demonstrate.
think, the way you think is
Yeah.
because of where you're born, where in the world
So I was born in
you're
a Christian family.
All of the,
Just
all
answer the
of
damn
the
question.
things that you expose yourself to
demonstrate
during
it.
your life make you give you a certain perspective and
my
a certain
gosh.
bias, and you can't see it, bro.
Bruv, just demonstrate
Also
it.
biased.
So demonstrate, show me.
You cannot talk about
Show me
Yemen
where my analysis.
Right. not talk about
now,
Yemen
you want to talk about Saudi Arabia, you don't want
without
to talk about
Iran.
Yemen,
Involvement.
listening.
Iranian involvement,
The
bro.
subject matter,
want
the
to talk about the
subject, the subject matter was between the ISIS and the Salafi movement.
Okay,
you
they're not the
agreed,
same.
You agreed that in relation
Salafi
to
and
the goal of
ISIS.
establishing a
So
Khalifa,
ISIS is different
you're
from
saying
Salafi
it's not the
ISIS.
same thing. They don't have the same goal.
ISIS
Yes?
are mad,
A
yeah.
global Khalifa.
As far as I know, that's not the
Salafi
Salafi.
Okay.
Salafi,
What I'm
what
saying
are
is,
they?
as the guy that was
What
here
is
before,
Salafi?
Salafi
Paul,
is like
the white
it's
guy.
an orthodox.
As far as I know, that's not
orthodox
ISIS movement.
in
so
Islam.
what's ISIS
It's
goal, bro?
Muslim, yeah.
Well, I think it's a
And are they
caliphate.
going to fight or what?
They want to unite
No. He's trying to equate ISIS with the Salafi movement. I think.
Okay.
And he's going back to
I don't know if
Muhammad
it's
bin
for the
Abdul
whole. I don't
Wahab.
think it's for the whole world.
So basically, he's a Shia,
I
so his
hear-
point of view, he doesn't like orthodox
I agree
Islam.
with you.
He likes
It's
his.
a thing of first.
You said that you read the
Let's
book.
deal with
How many
the
volumes
Muslim
is the
man.
book?
I agree with that's the thing.
I've only
If you
read one.
talk to the
Yeah,
ISIS
but there's 4
representative,
volumes of
the two
of
brothers.
Tawheed.
Have you read them?
Yeah.
have you not seen what he had to
There's
say?
takfir in there.
I haven't seen what he had.
All right,
Against
anyone.
he had to
No,
many
against
times
anyone who
he
goes
said
and visits the Prophet's
about
grave.
Islam dominating the world.
Well, it's there.
Look how many
Right?
people
He
read
has-
the Prophet's grave
yeah,
now.
No,
openly.
he's made.
But it's
you
not
know,
just that.
Ibn Uthaymeen,
If
one of
you've
the
been
scholars
hanging
of Saudi
around
Arabia,
with
has said
Sunnis who think like
that
that, it's very known.
the Prophet's grave
get
is
what
an
I'm saying? They
idol,
quote the
and
verses
we're waiting to demolish it.
Out
You know
of
this?
context to demonstrate.
Ibn Uthaymeen
Yeah.
said
That's what I'm saying. So,
They're
alhamdulillah, you
literally-
didn't know this.
they're
I don't know what
dreaming
he
to
knows.
demolish the Prophet's grave.
Well,
But yes, this is
if
very
they wanted
clear.
to do that, they
Listen
would have
to
done it.
Suleiman. He's
Egypt,
got a
Egypt,
lot
as
more
soon as they were
knowledge
going to
and
do that, you know they
information
want to do it. Egypt threatened to
than,
invade.
what's his name?
When they were
One
going
sec,
to-
one sec. Than Abdul Hakim.
I never heard
So
this,
listen to Suleiman.
but what is it? I take you your shit.
Yeah.
All right, so what's your point anyway?
Muhammad Abdul
So
Wahab.
he this individual
What is it about his
was practiced
what-
terrorism.
what-
So he
what-
invaded
what-
Karbala.
Right, I'm
where
saying
the Prophet's grandson's buried.
He brought an
And he-
ideology
and
or
it was
revived
the
an
day where
ideology
Imam Ali's birthday was
that you can
happening.
make
And the
takfir
Shias
upon
usually go and
Sunnis
visit
based
Imam
upon
Ali's grave
interpretation.
when this happened. So
And
there
you
was no
can
men
then
left,
kill
there was only women and children.
You understand?
So they
Which is what he
invaded.
did.
They killed a bunch of people.
And I'm saying,
and they
ISIS-
stole from the grave of Imam Hussein.
right about this.
Because there's
Brother,
a lot of
this
kings come and they
it's
give
so
gifts.
fixed in history.
That's what he did.
You can't get
His history is full of blood and terror. That's why we're against it.
Yeah, no, but the
When
thing
I
is,
studied
right,
this,
you're
it was
talking about
over 20 years
terrorism.
ago. What I'm
Where
saying
you
is
from
because it's so
Me,
widely
Saudi Arabia.
available.
Saudi
Like,
Arabia.
you can YouTube
All right,
it.
but
I thought you knew.
if you
but
look
fair
at
enough,
Iranian
you don't.
history,
It's-
right, and the
it's not everyone
Safavid,
knows
like,
that.
you heard of
I agree,
Safavids,
absolutely.
Safavids, I think they're called in
They
English.
forced
right?
conversions.
The forced conversion to
I'm saying-
Shiism, right?
I agree.
So it's like
You know about that,
all
right?
our history, whether it's Salaf,
I'm saying-
I mean, to be honest,
I'm saying
I'm
Muhammad Abdul
as a Orthodox, like Sunni, my mum was more
Right.
into the Salafi.
No,
thing.
no, but
My
listen,
father
one
not,
second.
right?
We're not talking about-
It's
we're not
like,
talking
from my
about the descendants of
understanding,
Abdul Wahab.
that is a purest form of Islam.
Muhammad Abdul
I
Wahab.
don't know about the
Yeah,
politics and
the one in
all
the
that kind of
17th
stuff.
century, talking about him.
When I
I mean,
mention
in
a
terms
man's
of
name,
following
how
what
can I be
Muhammad
talking?
sallallahu
Yeah, because
and the Sunnah.
Well, I mean, he came,
But that's
well,
not
to argue, he
Abdul
came to
Wahab.
talk
That's not Abdul
about
Wahab.
adhering to the Quran and
That
Tawheed.
is Wahab, but that's not Muhammad
And
Abdul Wahab,
obviously,
not the
this
original
hadith
one.
about the
That's the
second
seventh
anymore.
prophet. We're talking about the original one in the
Go against the agenda.
Listen.
You know, the Prophet said, "Any Tariq
The one that's established. Yeah, there's 3 Saudi countries. The one that exists today is the third Saudi.
My book, I the Quran.
And they made a deal with Roosevelt in the 30s, and we know about that.
What I'm saying
Where's this hadith from?
in a
Yeah, you can find it in
continuation,
Sunan
this
Tirmidhi.
thing is
You can
established
find it
by
also in
Muhammad
the
bin Abdul Wahab.
Sahih collection
It's
of
as simple as that.
Albani.
What I'm saying
I've
is
got
one of the
sources, man,
things
go ahead.
he's criticised for.
But the Ahlul Bayt would include Aisha radiallahu anha. Why not?
Well, because, I mean, if you go back to Zayd, ibn Arqam, he was asked, the wives included in the sense that they're Muslim. He says, no, the wives are not included because when they get divorced, they go back to Islam. They're not included.
Oh my God.
And in fact, when you
Anyway,
go
go on,
back
I'm
to
saying both, I'm saying both of you ain't got the knowledge to discuss the issue, so what do I do? I asked you about it and you don't know. I asked him
Go
about
back
it.
to last week. He needs to stop it.
Oh, bro,
Somali,
you
you know how
subject. No.
You're not going to
This
includes the
I don't read the comments.
the wives. But the wives are referred to as different homes, different houses. But then the one that talks about 8 Ahlul Bayt, one house, refers to one unique house. So we know that wives are not included. And there's many hadith that talk about how it's only Ali, Fatima, Hassan, saying to the Prophet that
Right?
they are Ahlul Bayt.
So I'm saying.
So what's your
he's
point?
saying the
You're saying that
modern
we should,
comes
what?
from the Europeans. That's what you're trying to
Be
say.
with the Ahlul Bayt?
Yes?
Against the Sahaba.
No, against the
bruv,
Sahaba. We should be against
See what I mean?
the
You can't outline the
unjust
base.
with the Quran and with the good
I
Sahaba.
do, but I want
Right,
to
who's unjust?
All right, listen.
Well, first three caliphs are
Yeah.
You want to say?
Why?
Separate
Do you
video.
want to
I
retract
mean,
your
when you
statement
get
about
What's
Somali
that?
being Sunni Savage beast?
He
Do you want to
I
retract
didn't say Somali, don't lie. I said you and that clown that's behind
You
you.
said Somali. You said Somali Sunni
or the
Savage beast.
Burning.
Yeah, that means the monkey that's behind you. No.
Somali.
You know how
Somali. That's why I piped up.
Stop.
Hang on. That's why I piped up. Hey, listen, do you want to retract?
No, because they were around me.
And burned them.
The guys, 2 guys behind me, what did you say?
Disagreed with.
What did he say to
So
you?
these are clear acts of
He
terror.
said something before, forget that. I'm saying he's not
Well,
here,
he
but I'm saying
declared
to
war.
you,
All I know is he
the
declared
reason why I
war
spoke
on
about him that way,
right? On the
because he
people that
said,
refuse to pay the zakat.
That's not right. That's not righteous. Imam Ali alayhi salam, you know the son of Umar, Abdul ibn Umar
You
refused
did
to
on camera say Somali is a Sunni Savage monkey.
no, don't lie.
Can you retract
Your
that
brother
statement?
choose whether you pledge allegiance.
Can you
Bring the
retract
statement
that?
out, bring the statement out.
So basically, from what you told me, right, the Shia
Bro,
thing.
you
is
say,
based on
bro,
a
you
lot
say
of
crazy
politics.
shit all the
So
time.
you're not listening. If I'm talking about
there's
people
no theology
standing
as
in front of me,
Like,
as if I'm going
you
to...
know,
You
But
know
you know
what
what
him
I'm
out as an individual. He's not Somali.
You know,
When I'm talking about it, that's my brother, he starts crying like you really brought up with him. It's true.
Yeah, we're all family, we're all related.
Who? Somalis? Okay, is that why that's why you box up the bloody Somalis?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Something we can do.
Oh, it's on camera, so you can't Anyway, ain't no one here beat up Somali except me. And you're talking about Somalis, you're wrong. Anyway, back to the story. You're related.
My brother attacks me.
When he was on the floor, you're related. Anyway, back to the subject. Listen to what I'm saying to you.
If Allah is
Clearly
also
from what you said last
described
week.
himself in a certain
So
way
what's the
that
point?
Quran,
They're going to get...
how else would you say that?
Brother, can you take him over there?
Yeah.
Chat off camera.
Because they're not focusing on the camera. Clearly from what you were saying is that you put Somalis in a separate category, very separate category to the rest of black people, right? For instance, if I talk to my experience over 20 odd years, if I talk to Nigerians, Ghanaians, Sierra Leone, Congo, etc., although they have a connection to their people, they're still black. Do you get me? So they
They don't
feel...
have clans. Again, it doesn't listen. This is what's
bruv.
because you don't understand this. This
You're
is
not
one
listening.
second.
I'm
You're
getting to
not
a point,
listening.
bruv. I'm asking
You're
you
not
a question.
listening.
I'm getting to a point to make for you to answer me. So now you're interrupting. I'm saying to you to explain because you said they don't have clan, and therefore that's going to explain the difference. And I'm saying, number one, that means you push Islam out, which you lot clearly have. You put your clan over Islam, clear cut. You put tribalism and nationalism over Islam. Would you agree with that?
Clanism, yes. I agree with you on that statement. But we're all Muslim, yeah.
You're not
disgusting.
listening.
It's disgusting.
I'm saying, in other words, is it a cultural norm to put your clan links and your clan situation over Islam?
But understand what the clan is. The clan is the family. The clan is the family. I'm saying,
you're not.
Why would there be a divide between...
Brother, you're not
but we
listening.
do divide ourselves.
I'm saying,
Yes,
no, listen to what I'm saying.
Qabiliyat, he's talking about Qabiliyat. We do divide ourselves upon a line of Qabiliyat. Yes.
Listen, you're not getting the point. I'm saying to you, Islam has a way of setting how you deal with people. Yes? And I'm saying, when it comes to dealing with non-Somalis, You lot say Islam goes out the window and your clanism. Wait. Listen. I said from what he said last week, I'm putting this across for him to respond. So you're not interjecting and telling me no. I'm giving him the opportunity to respond. Right. So as I was trying to say, Rafidi, this bloody Sunni savage monkey piece calling me down Rafidi. Behave yourself. Listen to what I'm saying. Look. Wait. No, because he's East African as well. So let me go.
Okay, go on.
All right. What I'm saying to you is this. As you were saying last week in a way, and what you roundabout said now, which you seem to be retracting, when it comes to clan, and even nation and tribe, when it comes to dealing with Somalis, you're biased against others. So, in other words, if your Somali brethren does an injustice, let's say to a black man, Nigerian, Caribbean, and so on, you try and sweep under the carpet what he's done and defend the Somali against it. Be honest.
To an extent, you're right, but we do that with anyone. With anyone.
Brother,
We do that with
you're
everyone.
not listening. Am I anyone or am I black man? So why do I care what you do to all these others? In other words, let me tell you what.
Distinguishing nationality
Yes.
from blackness.
Let me explain. Yes.
How?
Oh, I'll tell you how. Because there is
Because you
not.
don't know
I'm
your
telling
lineage.
you how.
Because I know my lineage.
Are you donkey? Or how am I black because I don't know my lineage? Wait, stop.
that's what I'm trying to say.
Who said that? Come on, cameraman. Don't be. Come on now. Oh my gosh. What the hell, brother? Stop being a clown. Are you saying no? Are you saying because I don't know my lineage, that's why I call myself black?
No, that was what you just said.
When did I say that? I said Nigerians, Congolese, all these other Ghanaians. Do they know their lineage? So when they call themselves black, now what?
Then what makes
What the hell are you bloody talking about?
We're not talking about.
Oh my gosh, bro. I don't know.
Make your
This
point
is
again.
what Sunniism does to your brain.
Stop it, bro.
But it's true. It's you, it's him.
Be
Look.
reasonable. Just make it.
Oh my
We're not making
gosh.
that point. Nobody said that.
Seriously.
Start again.
Right, as I was saying, this is why it's difficult to talk to people infected by the Sunni Savage Monkey Beast virus, yeah? Somehow, no, brother, look, are you witnessing, brother, listen, even his Somali brethren has to correct him, the next man had to correct him. Brother, you're not listening. How, am I supposed to just be humble and calm?
Yes.
Why? So why don't you be humble and calm when I'm dissing you then? You're not listening.
Right, we're being very humble and calm, considering the amount of provocation we're going through.
What did you say, Rafidi, yes?
In response to you refusing to take back your insult last week.
Brother,
that
you can't even
repeated
play
multiple
it.
times.
Because I don't do that. I don't make sweep. Right, for instance, there's a
Anyway,
difference.
forget that. Let's go back to
Then
the
don't
topic.
bring it up if you want to forget it.
Let's go
You see what I
back-
mean?
Let's go back to the
They bring it
topic.
up and then say forget it.
Let's go back to
So
the
why
topic.
bring it up?
Go back to the topic.
Brother, listen carefully. Try and stay on a straight line. The topic is very simply this. You Somalis, hello, you're listening because you keep interjecting. I'm saying, based upon his words last week, because I originally thought he identified as a black man. I.e. him, Afro-Caribbeans, Ghanaians, Nigerians, Congolese,
Yes,
etc.
I belong to a collective with them,
was
yeah.
one of the same. However,
belong to
he
the same collective.
demonstrated last week that he's got in his head some little East African bias that he also carries deep within him. So when it comes to the crunch, it's like,
Let me
explain. Go on.
Okay,
Yeah.
kin comes before clan. My grandfather's children are closer to me than people outside of the kin clan tribe. Yeah, I go by Habar Awal, then I go by Asak, then I go by Somali. Yeah, and then somewhere, I am black. Yeah, because I am identified as black. But just because I'm identified as black doesn't mean I have to be, I have to be very.
He's not paying attention. Oh, wait, stop.
Listen, what I'm saying is to you, of course, he is closer to me than you are. There's nothing wrong with
You're
that,
not
bro.
listening. I said when your brother, Somali, which is nation, right? So Somali.
Tribe.
Bro,
Somali
forget all of that.
tribe.
The whole Somali is one tribe?
One tribe, yes. Our tribe is an ethnic group.
Bro, stop. It's a nation. Don't
You can call it a nation either, yeah.
Garbage. It's Somali as a group is a nation of people,
A tribe.
full of tribes which have
No,
clans.
full of clans.
Oh my
The
God.
tribe is Somali. The clans are Isak, Darod,
So what's the nation? then?
Awiya.
What's the nation?
Well, that's a good question. I'll get
No,
back
but
to you on that.
okay, just so
The Ummah, I would say I belong to the Ummah. That's my nation.
so you belong to the Ummah of Sunnistanis that see you as inferior.
I belong
Yes
to,
or no?
I belong to an Ummah of 1.6 billion.
So
Muslims.
Bangladeshis see you inferior.
That's-
Pakistan,
I would-
stop.
First of all, Pakistanis work for us in Dubai. Behave yourself.
I'm
bro.
not interested.
What's this guy
You
on?
said to your brothers, yes?
Of course, all Muslims are our brothers.
So if
but
they're
the Nigerian,
anti-black, stop. If they're anti-black, I'm not talking about racist. I'm saying anti-black, meaning racist.
I'm going to tell you something.
What's
They
wrong
don't
with
call
this
me
guy?
black.
Brother.
Go to Dubai, bro. Go to Dubai.
I'm
innit?
saying you
Listen
said
to
you
me, listen to
identify.
me.
I know
Listen,
about
I am
that.
listen to me.
Where you want me to go? They
one
already
second.
know about that.
One second. How you are identified depends on where you are geographically in the world. In London, we are identified as black. But if we go to Nairobi, I have to walk around with my ID at night time.
In America, you might be
one
white.
second.
But why are you telling me this? I know this.
In Nairobi, yeah, I get arrested if I don't have my ID. That don't happen to you. In Dubai, they got job adverts and say black.
Say Sunnis,
One
everywhere
second.
else but the
One
subject.
second, bro.
Why are you telling me
In
this?
Dubai, they have job adverts. They said black Africans need not apply. They're not talking about me because we own half of the gold district. Again, what I'm saying is to you. What I'm saying is to you. I belong to a collective of African people where Jamaicans belong to that collective, Brazilians belong to that collective, African Americans belong to that collective. I'm not taking myself out of that collective. I belong to that collective of African, right?
You want to ignore the crux of what I said. When somebody who's a Somali acts in a racist, biased, anti-black way to a black man, you will sweep his actions under the carpet because he's Somali. Do you now understand? So in other words, I can't be anti-black, but you lot have this thing where you shapeshift. That's my point. Where somebody who's Somali identifies as a black man, I don't. When it suits me. Do you understand? That's the difference that I'm saying. I don't think Nigerians, Congolese, and a lot of Afro-Caribbeans have that option. Not that we wanted it anyway. So my point to you is, your bias in relation to Somali and those people that identify as black. Because you could have the bias in relation to Pakistanis. But
We have the exact same bias towards Pakistan
I know.
and Arabs.
Here's the difference. There's not a global anti-Pakistani ideology, is there? Is there? You know about it because you spoke about it 2 weeks ago. And I watched you say it to the white guy and the other guy. So don't try and moonwalk out of this. What I'm saying to you is, when somebody who's black as a Somali aligns themselves with anti-blackness and you support them, that's why I called you Sunni Savage Monkey Beast, Somali, etc. Do you understand the difference now? Because I'm saying it's because of the Sunni religion why they align themselves in this day and time. That's my point. Now address that if you can. Or do you agree?
We align ourselves with Muslims around the world.
Brother, you align yourself with Muslims around the world. So when there's
Sunnis
Nigerian
in Nigeria,
wait. When there's
Sunnis in Nigeria are our brothers just as much as the Pakistanis.
Brother, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying, as witnessed in this part, yes, many Somalis will align themselves with non-black, lighter-skinned Sunnis against black people when the black people are calling for the unity and justice of black people. Do you understand? They will oppose it because their brains. And the thing is, me and you had this conversation off camera, so I don't even know what the hell you're playing.
No, you're right. I agree
right.
with that.
So I'm saying
that's across the lines of Muslim and non-Muslim. It's not about black and white.
No. Listen, this is what I'm saying.
Boys down to what you
Hold on, wait, stop. Listen, this is what I'm saying.
So was Adam.
Stop. This is what I'm saying to you. The issues that we're facing, the issues that we're facing, and a lot of the reasons why a lot of more Afro-Caribbeans are not Muslim, would you agree, is because of the behaviour of Sunni Pakistanis? Be honest. Be honest.
That plays a role, but not just Sunni Pakistanis. I think Muslims in general.
I'm talking about here, bruv.
In London, yeah, I'm not. But it's not exclusive to Pakistanis.
Okay. Would you agree, the majority of, wherever you go, the majority of experiences that people would have coming from the 60s, 70s and 80s of what we call Islam would have been Sunni Pakistanis? No.
Bangladeshis.
So who would it have been? Arab. In England? We're talking about England, bruv.
Okay, Pakistanis and Bangladeshis. Go on. And
No, it would have been Pakistanis, bruv. Forget and Bangladesh. You can say that, but I'm saying the dominant culture for which, because they're more, in the things of bias that we're talking about, they're more or less the same. So if you want to call it Stani Deshi, Bangladesh, whatever, Sunni, whatever, I'm talking about those people, South Asians, yes? So I'm saying the introduction to Islam that they've had is from those people. So when they think of Islam, they think of that. So when, for instance, we converted, right, when I was a Sunni at the time, they said, oh, you turned Pakistani now. Do you understand? Because they saw the religion and the culture with bias. So for instance, people used to say, oh, are you going to make your wife walk behind you? Do you understand? And the various other biases that are there. So I'm saying, because they, Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, came here with a Sunni version of Islam that was anti-black. I'm saying, how is a Somali who identifies being black align themselves with anti-black people when the black people that may have converted. What's wrong, bruv? Come on, camera, and shut your skin, man. You see why I call him Sunny Savage Monkey Beast? Just as we're having a conversation.
We came here. One second. We came here and we aligned ourselves with Muslims.
I'm talking.
That's that, bro.
You know what? Yeah, what I'm
And you
saying.
can ask any Jamaican.
There's only so much you
who's
can
converted,
take from Sunny Savage Monkey Beast. Seriously.
Ask the Jamaican reverts, how the Somali treated them, how Pakistanis
But
treated
you're
them.
not listening. I agree. You're not getting. You didn't respond to what I said. When you're saying, no, listen, I'm responding to what you said, which was when they unite with the Sunni who's not black, you're saying thank you. And I'm saying when those Muslims, listen, when I'm saying they're anti-black Muslims that you unite with against. Do you want to talk about it?
They're not anti-black because they're Muslims. One second, bro. One second. I'm saying to you, if we agree that there's an anti-black bias that exists within this community, I'm saying to you, it's not because they are Muslims. I'm saying it's because they're cultural. And the reason we're united with them is not because they're anti-black, it's because they are Muslim. Those two things are not one and the same.
Okay. That's fine. What I'm saying, hold on. Listen to what I'm saying. I gave you the scenario, yes? Where the black guys are seeking to enhance and empower the black community. They're not Muslims, right?
That's wrong.
Stop, bro.
That's wrong.
Please. Exactly, tell him.
Bro.
Well, he's saying the same thing, so stop.
Bro, you can swap with me. Or swap with me or just stay, please.
Well, even all the Sunnis are telling you the same thing. You see? Sunni brother against Sunni Savage Monkey Beast.
It's allowed.
You just dealt with him, yeah? There you go. Kill him. Finish him, go on. Come on, tell him, bro. You got the bottle, hit him with the bottle.
Anyway, listen.
Right, no, the scenario. No,
you've done enough talking.
No, you've
done enough talking.
Scenario.
One second.
Stick to the subject.
Listen to me very, very carefully.
Yeah.
We came here and we saw other Muslims. Yeah, and then we saw non-Muslims.
I'm talking about.
Obviously,
listen carefully.
You don't like my answer. Shut up. I'm not talking to you no more.
You shut up. You clown. This guy's a bum. You're not addressing what I'm saying.
I'm not talking to you no more. I'm not talking to you.
Okay. God. Anyone else want to get rich? Come.
To everyone.
I invite any other 77. Go on. No, finish. Go on.
To everyone else here, there is an anti-black bias that exists amongst Muslims in this country and particularly within the Asian community, I would say. Yeah? However, it's not because they are Muslim. It's not because they are Muslim. That's what you're implying.
No.
Second, I'm not finished. One second, I'm not finished. One second, I'm not finished.
Go ahead.
Another thing, we allied ourselves with Pakistanis, with the Yemeni, with other Muslims.
I know this.
Not because they're racist, and they're not racist because they're Muslim.
I agree with you. So just address. This is what I'm saying. Listen carefully now, yeah? I gave you a scenario. Try and address the scenario, right? You have a group of black people trying to talk about black issues. They're not Muslim, right? They are potential Muslims. Yes? I'm saying, just like this guy come along and he's saying, no, that's bad. Yes? This guy. You now shot him down. Yes? But some Somalis, back that kind of talk, isn't it? Yes or no?
Not just Somalis. Muslims
but we're
in general.
talking about
Muslims in
hell.
general. But Muslims in general would do the
But we're
same
talking about Somalis.
Most Muslims, including Somalis, would do the same thing. Yes.
This guy. Now you're agreeing. No, Sunnis will do it in general.
Most Muslims.
Where have you seen Shia? Most Sunnis, I agree. So thank you. He's just agreed now that most Sunnis will do the same thing, meaning they're anti-black, according to his own mouth. Thank you very much. You just said most Muslims, meaning Sunnis, will do the same.
When I talk about anti-black, I talk about it in the sense of the caste system. Because the reason I say the caste.
Can you stick to scenarios?
No, because this is relevant. Okay, this is relevant.
So you shut up, man. You shut up, you clown. Listen. Get a brain, bro.
Listen.
You're intelligent mind.
The reason it's relevant is because these communities that you're talking about are the same people that invented this thing in the first place.
Why are you telling me this? I already know.
Again, and they had it before Islam came to them.
Brother, I know.
And Islam did not wipe it out of them.
Brother, you're not listening.
That's what I'm trying to explain.
Sunnism didn't. I agree with you. Sunnism didn't. So back to the scenario which I gave, which you said most Muslims, meaning most Sunnis, would agree, would support. You don't have the evidence that Shias would. So you have the evidence that Sunnis would.
Are you married? Try marry an Iranian, innit? See what happens to you, bro.
Iranian?
Because I'm telling you right now,
How you not ever stick to a subject?
You got a small chance.
What's wrong with these guys? Marriage.
We're
talking about your ideology.
Shiites are the only people in their books that say do not marry the black.
Really?
Do not marry the black and the Kurdish.
Really?
Respond to that.
Right, I'll respond to it. Where is this?
It's in the Shia book. So somebody bring it up.
Okay.
Somebody bring up
No. We've seen the hadith.
Okay, so you see
Now
the
hold
hadith.
on.
Why is
Wait.
it
Stop.
Yes.
You're not listening.
Because he wants to talk about Sunni.
Are you a Shia?
I'm not a Shia.
All right. So when you talk about it, have you ever been a Shia?
No.
Okay. So bringing it up to me as a black man who's a Shia so-called and black empowered, how would that work with me? Does it look like I'm a type of person that someone could tell me don't marry a black woman? Does it look like it? That somebody could say to me don't marry a black woman? Yes, just yes or no?
No, it doesn't.
Right, thank you. So bringing that to me as a person that says whatever hadith goes against the Quran is binned in the garbage. What is your point of bringing that up?
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Right. So what I'm saying
reject
to you,
any hadith that goes
okay,
against
good.
the Quran.
Thank you. So what I'm saying to you is, hadith in the Shia tradition is measured by the Quran, regardless of chain, no matter what it says. Would you like, if the chain of narration is authentic, you accept it, even if the content of the hadith is garbage and against the Quran, you still accept it and try to rearrange and interpret. All I'm basically saying, and I'll say it again, was why Somalis, because they identify as black. The Pakistani doesn't identify as black. The Bangladeshi doesn't.
Somali doesn't identify as black for the most part.
Oh my God, bruv.
You want to be real about it? They don't identify as black.
Listen to what I'm saying to you.
But the Somali doesn't identify as black either for the most part.
Exactly. So this is what I'm saying. Stop shape-shifting. I'm saying to you, for those Somalis, that when it suits them, they're black. So they got backing. Yes? Because there's certain Somalis, hold on, that grow up in areas where... This guy grow up in areas which is fully racist. So therefore, they unite with the black people from young. They're identified by black by the people that are racist against them, and they're identified by black by the people who are extended, Afro-Caribbean, Nigerian, etc. So they don't know no different.
Again, that's politics as well.
Brother,
Growing up, I was told
many
times I'm not black by black
Brother,
people.
you're not listening. I'm talking about those that are in this.
I grew up in the inner city as well. I grew up in a
I'm
block.
not talking about here. I'm talking, bruv. If you grew up in London, it was already mixed by the time you were born. I'm talking about areas where there's hardly any of these people. So you've already got a race.
I lived in Bournemouth for 5 years, so I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Right. So you agree with me?
Yes.
So they agree and argue the point they agree with. Right.
But I'm talking about, listen, like I said, it depends on geographical location as well. Things change, brother.
All right, bro. All right.
In London, I'm called Somali. In Bournemouth, I'm called black.
I was just talking about here. But all right. Hopefully you lot get what I'm saying. Obviously, I can't.
Anyway, can you take back the Sunni...
Show me I said that, because I'm saying, I repeat, that idiot that was behind me that came on camera is a Sunni savage monkey beast, stinking whatless kafir dog, because of what he said about Prophet Muhammad. Did you hear what he said about Prophet Muhammad?
What did he say?
Did you hear? No. Okay, leave it there then. When he's on camera, when he comes, we'll tell you. You know what I mean? And what he said about me too, so bun him. And just because he's Somali, I don't care. Once they step over that line, diss my prophet, then diss black people, bun them.
Yes, he didn't diss the prophet, I don't believe him.
Yeah, well, basically, if somebody is trying to say that black people are so inferior, why would Allah send the prophet as a black man? Is that not dissing the prophet?
That's insane. That's stupid. That's retarded.
All right, there you go.
Adam was East African black.
Bro, East what?
East African.
My
Oh,
brother
no,
with the
as far as I
afro.
know.
Get the afro on camera, please. Black power with the afro. Black power afro here.
Listen. I've got a problem with you still.
We're gonna jack his afro.
Now this guy's sending for Somalis.
I've got a problem with you
Come
still.
on. No, bun that. Come on now.
But still, we've got a problem though.
Come on then.
The Somalis are onto you.
Yeah, come on.
I came here for you.
Somalis, come on now. Bro, you come anyway.
I came here for you, you know.
Don't let him pretend he came for me. He comes it anyway. He came for me. Garbage.
Give me a wife too.
Huh? Hold on. Bro, I set him up. What did he say he gave me a wife? What did he say he came for my wife?
Listen.
Don't say that, please.
Listen.
No, please.
We got a problem.
Don't say that kind of thing.
We got a problem going on.
Yeah, come then. What problem?
I'm gonna chat to you on this.
No, come on, it's a discussion.
I'm just gonna say.
What about Somali community?
Yeah.
Bruv, he's the best. Bruv, stop it.
He's more of a.
No, forget that. What do you mean dissed us? Are you anti-black? I mean, how can he, look at him. He looks like Afro-Caribbean. So I don't know where you're going. Oh, you don't think you look Afro-Caribbean?
He doesn't.
Are you mad? He doesn't. No, you're joking, bro.
What I'm trying to say
You look
is-
Somali, he looks Somali. He looks Afro-Caribbean.
Somali, bro.
Whatever.
Somali though.
Somali is a range of people, bro.
Brother, you're not listening.
We come
I'm
in
saying,
different shades, man.
with
different shades.
you've got Somali features that you fit.
So does he.
You're not listening. He may have. But I'm saying to you, even though he has, he could fit amongst Afro-Caribbeans and they wouldn't know the difference.
So can I.
Bruv,
He can. Why not?
Bruv,
Why can't he pass?
you could be Eritrean, you could be Saudi, you could be all
Coolie
kinds
as
of-
well.
You could be, oh, you know about Coolie, well done.
I know
What's
about Coolie,
Douglas then? What's Douglas? What's Douglas?
No
What's
idea,
Douglas? All right. Douglas is
Oh,
the
there's a
mixture.
ginger Jew. What's going on, big man?
Man, wicked. How you doing, sir? What do you think of Somalis?
I want to talk to you as well.
Hey, big man, why are you so concentrating on us? Like, why are you so into Somalis?
Bruv,
Like?
the conversation wasn't about Somalis.
There's Eritreans.
Hold on, listen.
White people from Somalis. Like.
No, listen, yeah?
Why you
imagine,
only go for Somalis?
listen to what he says. Listen to what he says. The conversation wasn't about Somalis, but he said, why do I go for Somalis? How is the brain not working? There's a big video where the conversation is not, it's about Marcus Garvey, Elijah Muhammad. It ends up with Somalis. He jumps in. And then if it was an Eritrean, what would I be talking about? Eritrea. If it's an Ethiopian, if it's a Pakistani, that would be the conversation. So how you tell me why I'm going in?
You said Somali side of the Sunni Muslim, but black. That's not true.
Bruv, all right, hold on, wait, stop. What are you saying?
That's not true.
What are you saying?
On the side of an Asian over black person.
That's you, I'm talking. Oh,
That's all my family.
hold on, wait, stop. Say that statement again. Stop. Say that again.
Listen, we might be.
No, say that statement again.
All I'm saying is we might be Muslim, but then we're black at the end of the day.
The problem with him, he is different from a lot of Somalis, and he's trying to pretend that his outlook and his view, he's trying to pretend that his outlook and his view is the Somali outlook and view. The brother I was talking to before,
Hey, Fisherman, chat to this guy, bro.
bruv, he refute you. Refute the hell out of him. No, hold on, stop. Excuse me.
Eventually, all the people living in this country will become white.
You see? Look at what he's focusing on. Hi.
That's why, I mean, I am
You're married,
obviously committed. My non
We will get you married today.
Middle East would have been better.
You're looking married.
Hey, chill, man. Relax.
I'm helping you out, bro.
I got this, man. I got this.
You ain't got nothing, bro. I had to help you out last. Somebody hook him up, bro. You know what you got to do?
He'll get there soon.
Somebody has to bring their sister down so that you can say.
No, are you
sister.
nice?
Bro, no, I'm saying so that they can talk and find you got wives, man.
Really wise.
That's what I'm saying. You got what I'm saying. See, yo, sis, come, chat to her. Get numbers, bro. You don't need to get married. These Somali brothers need to get married because otherwise they stop talking this Majanoon. When they get married, their brains will start.
So what's your point that you
With Somalis, right? Here's my point.
You're just a hater. That's what it is.
I'm a
man.
hater, right?
You're a hater, man.
I'm saying in Speaker's Corner.
Somali
and
took your wife?
Yes. Bro, stop talking about wives just because you can't get married and can't get girl. Don't let me go. Don't let me go into it.
I'm only young, man. I'm young.
What I've witnessed, I don't want to talk about it.
I'm young, man. I'm young.
Somebody took my wife. I don't know, bro.
As I was saying, we can make it happen.
Make what happen, bro.
We can take your wife easy. We can
Stop,
make it
bro.
happen.
Don't say them things.
We can make it happen.
Bro, please. You're Majnoon. You might get run over by a bus before that happens. Anyway, as I was saying,
you try.
bro, a bus. I don't drive a bus. As I was saying, right. I'm saying, as the brother basically agreed.
I'm gonna come back.
Yeah. Basically, that Somalis. Sorry. I want to get them in too. That Somalis, in general, identify with the lighter skinned non-black Muslims. So if they find Pakistanis, even though some of them are dark skinned, Bangladeshis and so on, against black people, whether they're black Sunnis, black Shia, or black non-Muslims. Here, bro. Very much here, and even he admitted it, right? But then he tried to slip in, or they're like that towards anybody who's against Islam or non-Muslim. But I'm talking about where those blacks who are non-Muslim are seeking to empower black people, which would include black Muslims, would it not?
So you're saying...
Would it not?
Let me give you an example. You're saying like somebody comes to this park...
Let's say G-Circle.
Yeah, Raspek G-Circle.
G-Circle, right.
You're saying they're more against them.
For instance, when the Pakistanis, Bangladeshis, and the other Middle Eastern Sunnis were against the G-Circle, Somalis started to side with those against the G-Circle. They used the thing of Islam, as he said, but it's Sunniism, is what I'm saying. So I'm saying 1 minute you're black, and then 1 minute you're not. Because a guy came right here and said that's wrong, and then he shot the guy down. He said, "No, be quiet." Basically, he was telling him, you know what I mean?
The guy who wasn't Somali.
No, he wasn't Somali. So my point was, that guy was just like the other guys that are against black unity, black empowerment. Do you understand? So this is what I'm saying with him, he's shape-shifting. I don't know how many different personalities he's got. He's Somali, he's black, he's anti-black, I don't know what the hell he is. And I'm saying Sunniism, or Sunni Savage Monkey Beastery, is the source of the anti-blackness within the Somali community. But it makes you confused. Do you understand? And he's demonstrated. But anyway, that's it for me. Need to walk around and see what's going on. Please look up a video where I've explained it so many times. I need to make a separate video for that.
So what is the identity of Somalians?
The identity of Somalis. He's Somali, please ask him.
What is the identity of Somalians? Are they black or Muslim?
They're a different species among themselves. They're so tight. The identity of Somali is so entrenched. Like, I'm Somali.
There's many layers. There's many layers for identity. First and foremost, for Muslims.
So when you came, and you wanted to go back to Somali, what is this talking about? This is it. I will. If you're here in the car and you bring up Somali, if Somalis are anti-black, as a black man,
anti-black.
oh my God, talk to him. Tell your boy. Tell your boy. Tell him he's here. Tell him.
Listen, there is discrimination within the Somali community.
What now?
Within Somali against Bantu people, you know that.
Thank you very much. See, there you
We have
go.
Somali Bantus and we discriminate.
Wallahi we don't. Wallahi we don't.
Have you ever been to Mogadishu?
What the hell?
I lived there. I know Bantu people, but what are you talking about? Wallahi, they don't get discriminated. Wallahi.
Okay, so you tried to bring a Bantu girl home. What does your mum say? Be real.
I won't say anything.
Be real, bro. Be real.
My mum will only say if she's a Muslim. That's it. That's all that matters, fam.
But that's him personally.
That's him personally. Fair enough.
That's
But
all.
generally
If she's
speaking,
not Muslim, why not, bro?
generally speaking, you know how we view the Bantus in Somalia.
Well, I know there's not Somalia, but I don't think like
You know how we view it.
So does he then?
they get called generalism.
But he said the same thing I'm saying, so now what?
They're Somalian.
You see what I mean?
They live in Mogadishu, but they don't get discriminated. Wallahi.
So I'm going to show you
He's
something.
he's anyone to talk about it.
I'm gonna show you
That's
something.
the problem.
I'm trying to back us.
He said he wanted to talk about it. Is that pro- now he's talking crap. You see how stupid you look. He wanted to talk about it. But you're blaming me.
Hey, boss.
Tell this guy.
Hey, boss.
That's what I mean.
I beg you, stay there. You don't know about our country. Like, stay there, fam.
Wow. Tell him again.
Because you don't know about it, just stay there, fam.
What about Somalia?
Yeah, you don't know about it, man. Just stay there,
Well, I was
fam.
about to marry a Somalian man.
Fam, allow it.
Somali. So that's how I
Whoever
know
that
we don't
system
know.
is, you need to
I don't know what
think again,
Somalian
please.
is, but we're Somali.
We're Somali, fam.
Right,
That's
I
it,
just
man.
want to make
You
this
don't
statement,
shit,
yeah? Before the issues here, yeah, I would never have seen myself different than Somali, Nigerian, you know what I mean, as a black man.
Okay.
So I'm saying it's because of what I witnessed here that I'm kind of like, raw, because I've seen it before, but not so much. Do you see what I'm saying? But the brother's confirming it, man, forget that. What I'm saying is, this brother and certain others on Somali Corner have expressed a lot of political history. So what I'm saying to you is, this is why I like to talk to him and those brothers that know about this.
Okay.
You get me? Rather than, I don't like to make a video and say, Somali this, Somali that, or
It looks like
Yeah,
you're
but the point is,
flipping
but
off.
Isa, I
So
think
why are you talking?
The reason I get frustrated with you is you don't seem to understand, you don't seem to appreciate how important this clan thing is to us. Like, and you keep rolling your eyes every time I bring it up.
I agree with you.
But what I'm saying is this discrimination in Somalia that Bantu Somalis face is because they are outside of the clan. Furthermore, there are Bantu Somalis that are accepted and protected by the clan, and they don't face that discrimination.
I'm sure.
Like
Bro,
it.
in every
don't at
community,
all.
brother, listen, in every community, they have this. What I'm saying, as I gave the example here, we're living here, yes?
Okay.
And I'm saying to you, where the alignment
Because
against
we
black
see ourselves
empowerment-
Somali.
Brother, listen, no.
Look, there's
wait,
one
stop.
second. I'm gonna make your point. Yeah, I'm gonna make your point. There's a Somali mothers group. Yeah, that I went to speak there. Yeah, and it's called Mothers United, and they're trying to work against knife crime in London. And plenty of other black people are trying to do the same. But 100% of the women that were there were Somali. Now they could have invited non-Somalis there, innit? But they were very, very passionate about us. It's our responsibility to save our own children. Right? My mum called my friends, my Somali friends, son. Yeah, she calls them Hoyo, right? She doesn't call my black friends Hoyo because she doesn't see them as their son. Right. Let's just be real about it.
Good or bad?
Whether it's good or bad, that's the reality of the situation, innit? That is the way it is,
The
innit?
point of
And that's
the
because it goes kin, clan, tribe. Yeah?
We've already acknowledged this.
Okay then. And we don't even talk about race, bro. We talk about kin, clan and tribe.
Brother, is there a global anti-black movement?
Yes.
Right. Do you agree it's against you as well?
Yes, in the context of London, yes.
Right, so let's just deal with the UK.
Yes.
And possibly America as well, yes?
Okay.
Right. So what I'm saying to you is, where we live, do you not agree I should put importance on where I live? Right. So if there is a system in place where anti-blackness is institutionalized, and there is a pecking order, white people, Bangladeshis, Pakistanis, and blacks.
Why don't we align together? What I'm saying is to you.
That's what I'm saying to you.
And you're not listening to me.
I
It
know.
goes kin, clan, tribe.
Are you not listening?
You're not in the kin, you're not in the clan, you're not in the tribe.
Is Pakistani in your kin?
Well, they're in
They're
the
not
deen
our
that
problem,
that first of all, that overrides
our
everything.
problem.
So why do you not side with them?
They're not our problem.
Why do you side with
them.
them?
Don't side with them.
Right, you see how we're talking about a collective.
Did I not say there's anti-Pakistani
No,
within the Somali community
because
as well?
I'm black, I
We're
choose my
anti-everyone,
black.
bro. I'll be real.
Exactly. He's black.
We're anti-everyone.
Brother, you're not listening.
Yes,
he thinks
bro,
for
we're
himself.
anti-social black.
He thinks everyone thinks like him. That's the problem. He
We're
thinks all
Muslim,
Somalis.
obviously.
What is? You need to hang around with different Somalis and see what they really think.
But listen, this is what you
do
don't
they
get.
think?
Honestly, this is what you don't get, bro. We mock everyone, bro.
I know,
We
you're
have a
not-
term, we have a racist term for everyone. We call you Jared, we call the Arab the Gasser, we call the
Whatever.
Indian
But is there a global anti-Arab movement?
No, there isn't.
Right. So the only thing he said Arab. So what am I going to respond to? Right, but there is a global anti-black.
Yes.
I didn't say they did. We didn't say they did. We didn't say they did.
People, fam.
What are you telling me? We didn't say that.
I said we'll
Are you
side with
black or
Asian
not?
over Muslim.
Listen, I understand your frustration.
He
I
even said
understand.
so. You say no?
I understand.
I'll never side with an Asian over a black person. Never.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
Just
listen.
saying, innit?
We're talking about other Somalis.
Nah, fam, that's not true though. You don't know that.
Is
fam.
that true?
Bro, are you telling me?
In the context of this park,
Hold
yeah.
on, here's
people-
another
this
part.
one.
Okay,
Okay,
We're talking about in this park.
Bruv, there's loads of
On the
masjids.
road and that.
Wait,
Brother,
there's
brother,
loads
let
of
me ask you one thing. Were you first, Muslim or black?
Don't worry about that.
No, first, seriously,
Don't
bro.
worry about that.
No, that's
A
wrong.
lot of Somalis will side with
Should be Muslim,
Pakistanis.
bro.
Don't worry about that, man. Don't worry about that.
Muslim first.
We are Muslim first, but guess what? My reality on this earth is not the same as yours.
Exactly.
Simple as that. Simple as that. No,
Stop trying to force us your way, fam.
you can tell me about all the
I've got
stories you
South
want.
London,
But listen,
around lots
unless
of money.
first of all,
Muslims in our rental,
listen, one second.
Alhamdulillah.
If you genuinely think that my experience in 2018 in London is the same as yours because we're Muslim, then you're deluded.
I'm not saying that though. I'm not saying that though, bro.
Yeah, we're Muslim first, but understand we have unique problems that are specific
Yeah,
to us
yeah,
because
yeah,
you are not,
yeah.
one second, you are not identified as black. Nor are you identified as refugee. Nor are you identified as asylum seeker. Do you understand? We have all of those types. So we have cool, fantastic. So am I. But what I'm saying is, you're not identified as black. You're not identified as asylum seeker. You're not identified as refugee. We have all of those labels. Yeah, and because we have those labels, it means we have very specific problems that are unique to us. Let me finish. That you do not understand, right? You don't get it. And that's fair. What you can do, you can try to sympathize. The way you do that is by silence and then trying to listen to someone who has that experience. You try to listen. You cannot escape your bias. Nor can I. Right? The way I think is because of my life experiences, because of the books I've read, because of the people I've met. The way you think is the same, right? But what we can do is try to be fair. The way you can try to be fair is taking a step back, taking a step to the left or to the right, and trying to view it from somebody else's perspective. They're trying to give you another perspective, and all you want to do is shut it down.
No. I hear what you're saying, right? I hear what you're saying, but I'm just being dismissed for my contribution, right? Now, I'm not brown.
Is there a little black? Is there a little box for you to tick to say brown?
Listen, I'm brown.
Is there a little box for you
I'm
to
not
tick?
foreign.
Is there a box for you to tick that says foreign?
Listen, cool series. Listen, I'm foreign, right? I have another mother tongue. I was brought up with the Quran. I was brought up with the same sort of Islamic ideals that a lot of the Somali brothers that I know were. If they acted a certain way on the street and they were caught, they get beats from their parents and their whole family. Same as me, bro. So I could sympathise a lot more with the Somalian brothers than I can with any other community.
I appreciate that.
Do you get it? So
We have a lot more overlap than other communities. Where are you from originally?
Pakistan, bro.
Okay, so Pakistan is not that far away.
He said it's
Yeah,
not.
on a boat. It's not that far away. Secondly, we have long historical links with the continent of India going back many thousand years. Yeah. Thirdly, there are cultural overlaps. Yeah, you call it a longi, I think, or Bangladesh call it a longi. You call it a Maoris. It's the same thing. You put henna on your beard. Like when they get old, you do the same thing. There are cultural overlaps. Hang on, 1 second. But the experience that we've had when we got to this island is not the same. It is not the same. Understand?
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in North London, but you are from a group of people who are known as Aryan. Yeah? That means that these people, these Nazis, they saw you as cousins. So if the Nazis won, you would have been cool. Yeah, you would have been cool. Understand something, that these people that built all these institutions...
I know Aryan.
1 second. You are Aryan. People of North
I
India.
heard that.
Are you Punjabi?
No.
Where are you from in Pakistan?
The north.
Okay, so as far as I know, people in the north of India or the northern Indian continent are Aryan people. Indo-Aryans, they're known as. You're not Aryan in the same way that the northern European is, but you're related.
In
Indo-Aryan.
the context of London, 2018, how is that relevant?
That's relevant because, listen to me, the experience that you had when you got here was not the same as mine. It's simple as you had much more opportunities to say open businesses or to get bank loans.
I was bored over it.
Bro, again, you can interrupt me. You can try to listen to what I'm trying to say.
I'm listening to what you're
What I'm
saying.
saying is to you, we did not have the same experience when we got here. The reason for that is because you are not identified as black. It's as simple as that. That's what it boils down to. Black means you are dispensable. They don't need you. You are expendable.
What do you think I am? Do you think I'm a white English geezer? Do you think
There is no box for you to tick that says brown. It's not the same thing, bro.
ethnicity, bro? Of course it is.
You know what? You know why this? Hang on. You know why non-black people, minorities are not black. Why they have this attitude? It's because of this term, black and other ethnic minorities. It pisses me off, bro. Right? We are not the same. We don't have the same problems. We don't have the same problems. It's simple as that. Nobody's coming to your waters and dumping nuclear waste, bro. Yeah? We don't have the same problems.
But what do you think the Americans are doing in Pakistan right now?
They're droning the shit out of it.
We're getting fucked in the arse, bro.
Again,
we're getting fucked in the arse,
bro. Like I said,
every other Muslim country.
We have things that
we're shouting, and there's no need to shout.
I appreciate. Listen, like I said, there are places that it overlaps, yeah, and there are things that we can do together, and there are certain problems that we face together. However, do not try to pretend that your experience is the same as us. It is not, man.
Well, when did I pretend, bro?
Because you keep saying, similar this and this, that, and the other. What I'm saying is to you, the test that I have in this world and this city is not the same as yours. If you appreciate that, if you appreciate that it's a little bit harder for me than it is for you, that's all we're trying to say. Yeah, we're not saying you don't face discrimination. So does a poor white working class person. Yeah, but there is a hierarchy. Yeah, and the African, guess what? He's not at the bottom. The person at the bottom is the original Australian, the Aboriginal Australian, and the Aboriginal Native American, because they're not around no more. Bro. You know what I mean? They're dead, bro.
But my point is, right, is like, I hear what you're saying. Even a brother I know said to me, the most bottom of the racial profiling thing is a black Muslims. He's basically a black Muslim in this country as well. And if you look at the States and that, who's dying in the car? Who's getting stabbed up? It's all the black news. More racism. It's all the black news, right? But the thing is, me, as a Muslim, I feel like I can empathise more with a black brother who's brought up in a council estate than I can with some white kids that live next door to me. I live in South London, right? Like, what my point is when I grew up, right, I'm saying all the Somalian brothers started coming in, right, as refugees. When I was growing up, I'm kind of older. They don't let go of that. And it's like, and I was trying to get into discussion to see, you know what, these are Muslim guys. These guys are called Muhammad, Aziz, Imran, Abdullah, whatever. All Muslim brothers. So I got in with them, right, and I see the racism towards Somalians, towards the Somali community, from the Jamaicans, from the white people, from everyone basically, right? From everyone. So the Somali brothers that I grew up around were more Muslim than anything else.
Yeah, Muslim first and foremost. Damn right. Nobody doubts that. Nobody doubts that. But however, yes, we are Muslim, but all Muslims have tests. Yeah, my test is not the same as yours. Just like our test is not the same as someone who's Syrian is getting bombed right now. Yeah. So if we can appreciate that, you have to be able to appreciate nuances. Because when a Syrian dies, it's front page news. We have been in Syria for 30 years. Nobody gives us any fucking airplay. Because we're black. Because we are identified as black. Therefore expendable. We don't matter.
So what's the solution?
The solution is, first of all, for people like you not to believe that you have the solution. Yeah, allow it. No, bro.
Because you want the solution.
Yes, I agree with you. But
that's the only thing that I said. I haven't said anything else.
You came barging in, yeah, without listening to the point that I'm interested. If you're interested, you will listen to the point that he's trying to make. Yeah, you came barging in without trying to listen to the brother's point. Yeah, and you came.
What was his point?
Refer to yourself.
That we have a different experience to other people, other Muslims, because we are identified as black and refugee and asylum seeker.
I'm joking. What do you know? I'm joking. And yourself? It's all love.
Hey, listen. Salam alaikum. We're doing Somali corner. You can do one now.
We're doing Somali. No. Bun that, bro. Not my Somali corner. Afro-Caribbean corner. Black Power corner. We got Somali corner.
We have beef.
Somali corner.
We got beef.
And then they end up fighting each other. We have
to work
because Somali corner leads to fights.
No, that's nonsense.
You're the one that beat up the black.
I didn't pick up no one. I defended myself.
On the camera.
I defended myself.
Go watch the video where he's banging up another Somali. He's banging up another Somali. But anyway, he does love the rest of the Somalis. He loved them. Just that one.
I love all Somalis. I consider us all one big family.
He decided to.
Anyway, we need to talk. Let's talk. What's your beef with Somaliland? Leave it alone, bro. So why do you all every day you're cussing Somaliland?
Just banter, wallah. I love you, man, wallah. Look, my best friend's from there, bro. I don't hate. We're the same people, the same language. There's no difference, bro.
There is a difference.
Okay, cool.
There's two political entities.
Okay, but yeah, that's cool. It's different. But then we speak the same language, same culture.
Different culture. Slightly.
How? What's different?
We don't do Nico. That's one.
Okay.
Go to a wedding, a Somaliland wedding. It's not the same.
I haven't been one still.
I went to a Hawiya wedding for the first time in my life. Bruv, it's different.
Well, I was lit.
It was lit.
What's his problem?
Huh?
Like basically, I wasn't being rude to you. All I'm trying to say to you is like, me personally, I don't like when people that are not Somali get into our problem. It's like me getting into a Pakistani problem. When Pakistanis are disgusting. They won't like it.
It depends what angle you're coming from, but I'll be easy.
Huh? No, but I'm not trying to be rude. I've got Pakistani friends, you know. But what it is that we've had problems back in the. I'm not hating on Pakistani friends. I live in an area full of them.
Let me ask you one question, right? How do you feel if I married a Somalian sister?
Well, I wouldn't like it.
Why?
You won't like it, fam?
Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why.
Tell him again.
If I was to marry an Asian sister, there'd be a lot of hatred.
What?
They'll even kill the girl if it comes to it, bro.
Not always, bro. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
But if the guys,
No, trust me.
If the guys like a proper
Brother, listen. Amongst Pakistanis, yeah, they're more likely to kill the girl if she marries another Pakistani, that group who they hate. Do you understand? They might disown her if you're black. They might disown her, but if they marry, let's say, back home where they have this real hatred for that group, I'm telling you, among Pakistanis, they got some hatred amongst themselves. So it's bruv, I'm saying it's not always a race thing.
Somalian, there's a lot of tribalism. It's like us, bruv.
Everywhere, yeah.
Somalians would rather they marry outside than to another tribe within Somalia, right? But for me, the main criteria is the religion. It's like you come down to Croydon, bruv, the amount of blacks like married to Asian girls and Arab girls and Moroccan girls and all that. Bruv, we're in the UK now, 2018, right? And I'm not discounting problems. But it's like for me, it's like, I'm not sure where you're coming from, right? Like whether you're black nationalist or yeah. See, and that's my criteria. So as a Muslim, what's your problem with me marrying?
No problem.
Go on.
No problem. What it is the culture shock in it. But the situation where Pakistani got married to Somali, but he violated her. He obviously beat her up and everything. That resulted in him getting smoked in the front.
Yeah, rightly so as well. She's abusing the girl. Like if we're both born over here, then our culture is probably more similar.
Listen, I was born out of an Asian girl. She told me that she couldn't see me no more.
Muslim?
Yeah, she's Muslim.
What, without marriage?
No, we was going out. Like, I wanted to marry her. Like, we were talking about it. We were going to go through it. But she told her parents.
Yeah, bang.
That was out. Like, if an Asian guy wanted to marry someone, it won't be like that.
It would. But it would. I've been there, man. I've been there. But this girl, and my mum was cool with it. She's like, Mum, let's get out. My mum was like, hey, it's cool. But I couldn't say to her, nobody saw her again. Nobody saw her again.
The piracy thing when they try and come say that.
So make it out what you will, but it happens across all.
It happens. My friend, he married a big body the other day. It happens. We mixed it. It's 2018 from
Okay, so Michael.
Local fisheries haven't got no fish to fish. So they're out there now seeing all of these boats in their land saying,
Funny enough, the first one, the people that were protesting, these fishing boats basically stealing their fish. There was a French boat, I think. I can't remember what country they came from.
Come take over everything from your belly.
Come, man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV. Listen.
And the environment hasn't changed much. It's going to remain. So what we need to understand, coming back to your question, I like to always get back to the point about Futa Toro. They actually observed Islam with greater zealousness than the people from whom it came to them, the Sanhaja Berber. Lady the Sanhaja Berber caught Islam during the time of Al-Murabitun. That's when they properly caught religion. By that time, what